Hey.
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 I didn't even see them here. I came on set today, even though the cameras are set up for a 3-shot. I came up to be by myself because I'm lonely.
Are we in the way?
And I'm scared. But then I looked over and saw my friends, Charles Pelletier and Stephen Foster. I go, oh my God, Charles and Stephen. They're here. You guys never let me down.
Thank you. You never let us down.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I will not. You did a film called That's Opportunity Knocking.
That's right.
Where'd the idea for the film come from?
Stephen
Charles Pelletier.
That's me. So Stephen and I have done a lot of theater work.
Right.
I direct a lot of theater, and we've both been actors in theater.
Right.
I hadn't done much film, but he had. But I had we were in a play at the Hollywood Fringe Festival that was written by another friend of ours. And the director of that play was a guy named Thomas Annawalt. Mm-hmm. We all went out for drinks after the production one night, and he started telling us about this anecdote that he had in an apartment he was living in New York with 2 roommates. Came home, the place was kind of messed up, but he really wanted to make it with his roommate. So they didn't really pay much attention to it. Ended up going into the sack. Woke up the next morning and the place had been robbed. But what was interesting was the place, if it had been ransacked when they got home, then the whole time they were on the couch, the burglars had been hiding somewhere in the apartment. So I thought, that's just a great idea for a short film. And he said, like a thriller. I'm like, no, a comedy.
It'd have to be. How long, what was the time space between, for the movie, how long does it last?
That's a 22-minute film.
See, the thing with me is when I make love to a woman, I have to take time. I have to really, really take time to make it right in every aspect. So if those robbers had come into my house, that whole act would take at least 90 seconds. They wouldn't have gotten away with much. We'll be right back. Hey, we're having fun up here, but we haven't met Stephen Foster yet. What's up?
Hey.
What are you doing, man?
I'm doing this.
I'm going to say something to you, too, that I don't say very much to many, because I don't feel this way. Te quiero mucho, me vidas. Te quiero mucho.
What does that mean?
It means I love you, my heart.
Oh, te amo.
Oh, te amo. Now you come back in Spanish. What does that mean?
I don't know.
You don't know? Te amo.
My whole Spanish vocabulary is based on Madonna songs. So
mine is based on working in restaurants. So you get a lot of laves las manos and donde está?
Baño.
Yeah, baño. El baño. Hey, so you were telling us about you.
About me, I'm an actor and a writer, and I love doing indie films. Mm-hmm. And Chuck wrote this particular part for me. I was not in the original scenario of the robbers and the roommates, but Chuck or Charles said, wouldn't it be funny if there was another roommate there, and no one knows about him, mm-hmm. the roommates or the robbers. And what if you play a psychotic guy who tried to kill himself because you're in love with one of the roommates?
Wow.
And I said, and as an actor, you always want to look for great parts, great material, no matter where they come from. And as soon as Chuck wrote it, or Charles wrote it, I said, I could do that. I want to play a psychotic person who's straight out of the booby hatch.
Right.
And who has a secret crush on one of the roommates. I want to play that. So
nice.
That's what made it fun. And Charles is the director. He knows, he's watched my work over the years, and he knows what I can do. Right. And that I'm not limited, because I'm only 5 feet tall and I have this
You're a
voice.
Giant to me.
And he doesn't see any limits on the characters that I can play.
Well, look at guys like Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
I worked with him. I've been places where he is. I'm not going to say we're friends because he calls me a Momo. He calls me Nicky Momo. Momo.
Why does he call you Nicky Momo?
He said his sister. Yeah. He said his sister, because my middle name's Dominic. But he said, I said, what's a Momo, Joe? And he said, my sister used to call it weird, silly people, a Momo. I go, well, thanks for that, Joe Pesci. I never once mentioned his height. But he came at me. But you don't see his height.
No.
His talent is so great, you don't see the height.
Yeah.
You don't see it. You see Joe Pesci. You
Yeah.
know, and I've seen a lot of performers. I don't think stature matters in that regard, right? I think it's the bigness of how you play the role,
True.
and also how you perform in life. You know, I know a lot of giants, man. They're nowhere near 6 feet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But the good thing about Charles is like the way, if you guys watch the movie, the way he frames me with the robbers, you get to see how tiny I am. And that is because I'm not.
I just went through all that crap for
I know,
nothing.
but wait, there's a point.
I'm a
not-
Lilliputian.
No, but as an
Check
actor,
this out.
but as an actor, I always in Hollywood, you know how they love to typecast you.
Yeah, of course.
So I always go out for the little people roles, and I'm not a little people. I'm 5 feet tall,
Right.
and so to find parts that are legitimate and real that I can play.
Well, that was my next question. There are no parts that are legitimate and real to your reality, because I'm sure that when you both were growing up, you wanted to play these characters, these roles, these parts, and those are not the parts that come your way, right?
Right.
Well, I don't want to make anything up. I'm saying it's the rare performer that finds him or herself in the role that they dreamt of as a child. Now, of course, you have your Rachel McAdams and the rest of them who get that. They get those shots. Carmen Diaz.
Yeah.
And the rest of them.
Bradley Cooper, because
he's producing his own films. He says, I'm going to create the roles.
Yeah.
You know, American Sniper and I don't know what he was doing in that 70s film. I don't know what that was about. But
American Hustle,
another silly endeavor. But do most actors get the role man, I would love to do that. Do they? Or was it just me?
You do if you have people write stuff for you, and I'm of that lucky age and type where a lot of people know me, and so a lot of people like Charles write stuff for me. They know my voice, they know my size, and they know that whatever character they put me in, I can play 100%. And for me, it's always not about me, Stephen. It's always about the character. Whatever role I'm given, I attack it like a tiger, because I grew up watching Carol Burnett, and I wanted to be a method actor in terms of comedy. So it's always about playing the character 100%. Gilda Radner, Carol Burnett, they all played whatever character they were doing 100%.
Harvey Korman,
Gene
Vicki Lawrence,
Madeline Kahn. And so that is what I like to do as an actor. I like to just play the character 100%. So I have people write stuff for me, and that's exciting.
Charles, what's it like writing and producing in Hollywood?
Well, I spent a lot of time.
Do you feel like you're Hollywood?
Well,
because there's only one definition of that: someone who's in Hollywood making movies.
Right. That's true.
So you're a Hollywood filmmaker. What's that like?
I literally do live in Hollywood Hills, and I make films. Well, I spent my whole life in theater, and the reason I have spent my whole life in theater is that it always seemed like you get paid for what you do artistically.
Right.
And I also get paid financially too, but I get paid artistically for what I do. So what do I mean by that? I have so many friends who have written screenplays, and I've written screenplays and sold them, but nothing's ever been made. So when you write a screenplay, even if you sell it and it doesn't get made, you have no artistic payment. You have no artistic reward for that.
Let me correct Charles here. I once got paid $99 for a script. I used that $99 to take my kids to McDonald's and Jump and Play, or wherever the place was. I've never seen such happy children.
There you go.
So my artistic pay isn't that's my response. But for you, I want to understand it, because you're right. There is no artistic payment because it wasn't done.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not finished for you.
Yeah.
So when I started in this industry, it was impossible to make an independent film. We just didn't have the technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
So theater was a place where I could write and put something on stage and direct it and get great actors and make a beautiful piece of art.
Right.
Well, now with technology the way it is, and with, for example, your festival the way it is, it's completely different. It's almost like there's a 99 seat version of films, and actually that's why I call my production company 99 seat films, because in theater a 99 seat film is, or 99 seat play is a play that you do because you want to do it, because you have a passion for it, and now that exists in film.
How was your screening?
The screening was sensational.
What was the feedback like?
It was amazing. It was like half full house and wonderful audience. They got every joke. They even got the small little jokes in between, and they applauded like mad afterwards. So it was very exciting to see something that you've put a lot of heart and intention into come to life, and the audience love it. It's a very rewarding thing.
That's nice.
So that's kudos to the festival.
That's nice. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about some more stuff. And this. You think that's funny?
I do.
We got the funniest crew in Hollywood. Nothing is beyond broaching. No subject. What's next for you guys?
I've got a film or a script that I am in development now that I really want to come out with. And Stephen is gosh, I think you've met 14 people at this festival that want to put you in films.
Yeah.
You know, what's next is Chuck and I want to develop a couple of scripts that we have that Chuck had mentioned that we had written that are kind of never made it. And so we want good things to happen with That's Opportunity Knocking. And then from that, we want to use that as our calling card as sort of a comedy team and develop more projects. And of course, I want to act in more indie films. And because indie films gives me the permission to be kind of crazy and over the top, but on camera. Because in theater, you don't really capture anything that's permanent. It's all live.
Right.
And what I love about film and even webisodes and this new technology going on is that you get to create a bigger body of work that's permanent.
It's very permanent, and you can't get it off.
Yeah.
No matter what you do. So it's there.
For better or for worse.
Best director in Europe. I'm going to give you some questions real quick. I want you guys to answer. Best director.
Milos Forman.
Christopher Guest.
Favorite female performer, actress.
Judy Garland.
Betty Davis.
Favorite male actor or performer.
They're all old.
I only asked for one.
I'm gonna go with Humphrey Bogart.
Peter O'Toole.
Nice.
We watch the classics.
Hey, I'm asking the questions. Hey.
And that's where I learned my craft.
Give me my room. Favorite film?
Probably Amadeus. I love that film.
I would say All About Eve.
What is the future of Hollywood?
I think the future of Hollywood is going to be more egalitarian, more equal than it has ever been. I think it's going to be less controlled.
What did you just say?
It's going to be less controlled by the oligarchy of studios and more controlled by people being able to access YouTube and other platforms so that every filmmaker that wants to be a filmmaker can be a filmmaker.
Do you think that's a good thing?
I think it's a great thing.
Young man, what's the future of the industry?
Us.
Oh, this guy is good. You are good. Where can I learn more about you guys? Is there a website?
That's opportunityknockingthemovie.com is the website for the movie.
Yeah.
And I have a website called chuckpelletier.com.
And cstephenfoster.com.
What a pleasure having you here.
Pleasure being here.
It goes fast, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It goes fast. Thank you, guys.
Life goes fast.
Unfortunately.